Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we are intentionally slowing down, taking a deep breath, and stepping into the philosophy of Richard Carlson's classic, Don't Sweat the Small Stuff.
Yeah.
And it's all small stuff.
It's such a fantastic choice. This book isn't some harsh set of commandments, It's really a masterclass in shifting your perspective.
Right.
Carlson laid out 100 of these gentle lessons, all designed to just reduce that daily anxiety. Our mission today is to cut through that and pull out the most powerful, actionable insights, maybe 27 of them, the ones that really rewire your response to stress.
Exactly. We're aiming to give you a framework for inner peace, but without the baggage that says you have to go live on a mountaintop to find it. And the central argument is so elegantly simple. Most of what drives us crazy, the traffic jam, the delay email, someone's critical tone, it's genuinely insignificant.
It is the small stuff. And the sources give you that immediate filter, right? If this thing that's making you mad, this worry, if it won't matter 1 year from now,
Then it's probably small stuff.
it's small stuff. The challenge, and we'll get into this, is that it's simple to understand, but putting it into practice when your nerves are shot, that's incredibly difficult. We hold on to these little things and we're basically spending our peace, which is, it's the most valuable thing we have.
So this deep dive is your guide to mastering that mindset of letting go. And, crucially, showing how that serenity doesn't actually sabotage your ambition. Peace can be an ally to high achievement. Let's start with, I think, one of the biggest psychological traps. That desperate chase for something that's unattainable. Carlson tells us we have to make peace with imperfection.
Oh, that's the #1 enemy of peace, that need for perfection. Think about it. Your home, your body, your relationships, that first draft of a project.
Nothing is ever perfect.
Nothing will ever meet that flawless standard you set in your head. And chasing it is not just exhausting, it guarantees you'll always be frustrated.
Peace begins where the need for perfection ends. I love that, but I have to challenge it a bit. I know a lot of our listeners are very driven, high-achieving people. The concern is always, doesn't this gentle living idea mean you're compromising?
Yeah.
Or, settling for less?
That is such a critical hurdle to get over because our culture basically promotes stress as rocket fuel.
Right.
Carlson just counters that directly. The lesson is, don't confuse gentle living with low achievement. He says the exact opposite is true. Success and serenity are not enemies. They are indispensable allies.
Okay, so how? If I'm not running on adrenaline and fear of failure, how do I keep my edge?
Because calmness leads to massively better thinking. It's that simple. When you get rid of the emotional noise, the rush, the frantic energy, you unlock clarity. You stop making reactive decisions driven by stress, and you start making proactive, insightful decisions driven by presence.
So gentle people can actually be super achievers.
They often are because they manage their energy so much better. They aren't wasting it fighting battles that won't even matter next week.
That connects immediately to how quickly we lose that calm once the day starts.
Right.
We have to talk about the snowball effect of your thinking.
It's the perfect visual for modern anxiety, isn't it? A tiny, stressful thought starts to roll. Maybe you just see a critical-sounding email subject line. If you don't catch it right there, it immediately picks up fear and insecurity and a memory of a past failure. And suddenly that tiny thought has created this huge emotional mess.
So the actionable step is to notice the first stressful thought, just pause for a second, breathe, and stop the snowball from getting bigger.
Yeah.
But here's the lesson that it flies in the face of hustle culture. Carlson says to lower your tolerance for stress.
It's a radical idea, but it's so powerful. Most advice tells you to, build your capacity to endure more chaos?
Yeah, toughed it out.
It says no, build your capacity for peace instead. Lowering your tolerance for stress just means building boundaries. It's a defense mechanism for your own serenity.
Okay, but what does that look like day to day? Because my boss doesn't really care about my lowered stress tolerance.
It means you establish non-negotiables. You stop saying yes to optional things that you know drain you. You stop volunteering just to look busy. You stop carrying the emotional weight of toxic people. And most importantly, you stop normalizing chaos as just how life is. A peaceful life isn't about enduring high stress. It's engineered by saying no to the small things that violate your tranquility.
I see. It's proactive self-protection, not weakness. And if we connect that to the bigger picture, the book has these powerful context shifts. The first one is to realize that life is a test, only a test.
That reframe is so key. It immediately takes the seriousness out of every challenge. You don't have to be perfect. You're just you're learning, you're growing, evolving. It just strips the drama away from minor
It
setbacks.
gives you permission to make mistakes.
Exactly. And paired with that is another one that's so hard for us today. Get comfortable not knowing. We are obsessed with having all the answers, with certainty and control.
Cool.
But that desire for absolute control is the source of endless anxiety. Carlson reminds us, you don't need all the answers right now. Life unfolds one moment at a time, whether you've planned it all out or not. Realizing that makes right now much less terrifying.
And all of this work leads to what he calls the eye of the storm state. How do you actually maintain that deep stillness when the world is legitimately chaotic? Kids screaming, deadlines, a crowded subway.
The eye of the storm is all about having an anchor. It means recognizing that, okay, the external chaos is real, but the center of your consciousness can stay still.
So how do you do that practically?
It's about grounding yourself, using your breath as an anchor, just feeling your feet on the floor, or deliberately tuning into the neutral sounds around you instead of the stressful ones. It's a moment-to-moment choice to just observe the chaos without getting swept up in it.
That makes it sound much more accessible. It's not some grand spiritual thing. It's just a mental tool.
Precisely.
Okay, so moving from our inner world to the practicalities of time, Carlson hits on one of modern life's biggest anxieties, the endless to-do list. The reminder is a bit brutal. Your in-basket will never be empty.
It's the honest truth, isn't it? You will likely die with tasks left on your list. And that's actually the liberating part. We constantly postpone peace. We tell ourselves, I'll relax after I clear my inbox, after this project is done. But the work never, ever ends.
So the goal isn't to finish everything. It's acceptance.
The goal is realizing that peace is a choice you make right now, no matter what's on your list. Stop waiting for everything to be done to feel okay. Peace is choosing to be okay with the incompleteness of life.
This connects directly to that feeling of constant urgency we all carry around. We're always feeling like we're behind schedule.
Which brings us to the next lesson. Life is not an emergency. We treat every little hiccup like it's a nuclear countdown. But when you apply that eye of the storm stillness, you realize most things can be handled with calm, deliberate attention, not that frantic, stressed out energy we usually use.
And the quality of your life just improves.
Massively. And your work, too.
So how do we train that patience muscle? It's easy to say be patient, but it's hard to practice. Carlson suggests we create patience practice periods.
Right. If irritation is going to happen anyway, why not make it productive? So you intentionally pick moments to practice. You decide not to switch lanes in traffic. You choose the longer line at the store on purpose. Or you patiently wait for someone to finish a slow story without interrupting.
You're turning frustration into a mental workout.
You are. You're building resilience instead of just suffering.
And if that muscle fails, and you're in the heat of the moment, you can always go back to the core philosophy as a tool. Ask, will this matter 1 year from now?
It is the ultimate reality check. That moment of road rage, the fight over the thermostat, almost always the answer is a hard no. And that one question just deflates the anger.
The final piece of this patience puzzle is a tough one. Surrender to life not being fair.
We resist this so much, but if you're constantly fighting the fact that life is unpredictable and sometimes unfair, you create this nonstop internal frustration that burns way more energy than the event itself. Just relax the grip. Focus on what you can actually influence.
Okay, let's shift focus to relationships.
Yeah.
Carlson says that compassion is the gateway to a softer life. Compassion, the gateway to perspective.
I love this one. When someone cuts you off or speaks rudely or makes a mistake, our default is judgment.
Immediately.
Compassion just asks you to pause and try to understand. Maybe they're dealing with a crisis. Maybe they're exhausted or scared. It just softens the whole interaction because you recognize they're imperfect and struggling just like you.
That softening leads right into how we interact one-on-one. The lesson here is so profound. Don't interrupt, become a better listener.
True listening is so rare. Most people are just waiting for their turn to speak. They're loading their response. Carlson says that when you truly pause and give someone your full attention, your relationships transform. Because that person feels heard, they feel respected. And that feels like love. It's an incredibly powerful form of validation.
Okay, here's the one that I think requires the most ego death. Let others be right most of the time.
It sounds impossible, doesn't it? That need to correct people is so deeply ingrained.
It does. I mean, if the stakes are high, like a critical business decision or a factual error that could cause real harm, surely you don't just let that go for the sake of peace. Where's the line?
And that's the nuance, right? He's not talking about essential facts or safety. He's talking about ego battles, the endless arguments over minor details or politics or how to load the dishwasher.
Right.
Arguing drains your life force. Correcting people, even when you're technically right about something small, it just creates resentment and serves your ego. Peace is more valuable than proving a minor point. Choose your battles. Let the ego rest on the small stuff.
That makes perfect sense. It's about managing your energy. And we should also talk about putting energy into positive acts, like his suggestion to write heartfelt letters.
In our digital world, a handwritten note is it's incredibly powerful. It forces you to slow down. It reduces tension, centers your emotions. It's a simple, high-leverage way to build love and connection without your ego getting in the way.
Ultimately, all of this hinges on our ability to fully live in the present moment.
It's the only moment we ever actually have, right? But we spend so much time worrying about the future or replaying the past that we just rush through our lives, and that rushing steals our attention. Mindfulness or just being present gives your life back to you. Even simple acts like washing the dishes or walking the dog feel richer.
Which is the essence of that last piece. Be happy where you are. Happiness isn't some destination waiting for you after the next goal. It's a practice, something you do right now. We've put together a really powerful framework today. We talked about the armor of boundaries, that surprising idea to lower your stress tolerance, and the absolute importance of presence with things like the eye of the storm.
And if we pull it all together, the final perspective shift he offers is the most profound. He asks you to imagine yourself at your own funeral.
That is a very sobering wake-up call. What actually matters in the end?
It's not the arguments you won or how perfectly organized you were or your complaints about traffic. It's how much you loved the people around you. It's the peace you carried inside and the kindness you gave away. That realization just makes all the small stuff completely irrelevant.
And what's great is that this framework gives you permission to see that thoughts are not facts. They're just mental noise. You can let them pass like clouds. And it encourages you to see problems as teachers, not roadblocks.
hmm Every irritation is a lesson in patience or humility or setting a boundary. The problems you face aren't stopping your life. They're teaching you how to live it more gently.
So we'll leave you with that final, powerful reflection from the book. Live each day as if it were your last. Because life is precious and our time is so short. What tiny irritation, what minor ego battle, what small stuff can you just consciously let go of today? Can you release that worry so you can tell people you love them, or take that mindful walk, or finally say the kind words you've been holding back? Just take a breath. And remember, peace isn't a reward. Peace is a choice you can practice every single day.